Yeah, how's it going? Today is 13th of December, Friday, and we're gonna be taking a look at a market, what kind of opportunities we can find, and what government is currently doing, right? There would be five articles that we're gonna be taking a look at in today's video. There might be very important information, but anyway, let's take a look at what we can find out today. First press list. Courses key to your government's growth mission will stay. Courses key to government's growth mission will stay with 70% of remaining qualifications due to the funding to be saved. Okay. The government has today laid out a future of the post 16 qualifications, protecting learner choices while cutting red tape to streamline the system. The move followed a rapid review of vocational qualifications that were due to be defunded by the previous government. Perhaps they can reduce costs by removing need of having people there and having everything on the system, since there might be alternative ways how to deliver some of those courses, right? Qualifications that will be a key of government's growth mission is a key subject to manufacturing and engineering that were previously scheduled for the funding will remain until replacements become more established. This will ensure learner will continue to have a broad range of options available to help them get foot on their career ladder. I don't know. I disagree with perhaps. I don't know that much, but disagree with the way how some of those courses would be delivered at this stage, and most of the education would be overpriced, by the way. So when they take a look at cost 70%, I don't know what vast amount of that money would be going to. Qualifications would be important, but the way how these courses would be structured is a different challenge within itself. Retaining these courses will prevent a pipeline of talent into the key sectors under the government's plan for change, including NHS. I guess around 70% of remaining qualifications that were slapped for the funding under the previous government will no longer be defunded as a plan following the review. The government is taking pragmatic approach to fixed foundations of delivering change. I'll skip some information. I don't think that's actually reflecting the way how things should be managed. We are creating jobs with actually creating value. So there's two different subjects, right? We are creating value by creating qualifications, but how these qualifications could be created by charging taxpayers to pay for something that can be delivered without any cost, and creating value without incurring costs. There's alternative ways, right? Around 70% of the remaining, I have covered that. Key courses that will stay included in those that were scheduled for the funding in important sectors such as agriculture, environmental, animal care, engineering, manufacturing, health and social care, legal, finance, and/or accounting, business and administration, and/or creative and/or design. Okay, all these areas would be very important. And just take a look at some of the tools, right? AI, books, libraries, how we can leverage all these tools, right, to deliver some of those courses without incurring costs, right, and adding value to your qualifications. Well, anyway, all of these sectors will be at the forefront of the government's ambition plan to fix foundations of the economy and not deliver growth instead of blanket restrictions. A new approach is informed by more than 250 individual contributors from employees, colleagues, and award organizations. So there are many projects that I myself or others have proposed already, and this initiative, we would be interested in receiving some suggestions or feedback based on what information has been published. I believe that there would be a lot of people who would be interested in supporting what they're looking to accomplish, but perhaps propose different way how to do it, right? In oral statement today, the minister confirmed that over 200 qualifications that had either no or below 100 employments per year over the last 3 years will have the funding withdraw from 1st of August 2025. The minister also confirmed that the new T level in marketing will be available from 2005. Wish there would be sales as well, but anyway, as the government continues to follow the program, following the recent introduction of T levels of animal care and management, crafting and design, media, broadcasting and production. This includes a recent announcement that more flexibility will be introduced for industry placements, ensuring that more students can take advantage of opportunities available from the high quality qualifications. Sure, sure. No one talks about the price, but anyway. On-site construction T levels helping students progress in T positive destinations will have further enrollments due to lack of overall demand for large qualifications at level 3. Learners already enrolled can still complete their courses. We recently announced 140 million from industry to create home building skills hub. I don't know. That's why I mean. This is how much would that be government's money? I don't know. 140 billion. So many things can be done with some of the systems, including virtual reality, right? So entire system should be restructured in a way where it would cost less for everyone involved. But anyway, which will enable thousands more apprenticeships in constructions to be started every year. This will ensure that these vital skills are rapidly developed in the areas where needed the most, helping to meet the government's milestone of 1.5 million homes being built in the next parliament. I have taken a look at roughly about 2% was accomplished in 6 months of 1.5 million, and those 2% is debatable, perhaps just 1% of the target. So there's a lot of work that needed to be done, right? There's a lot of pushback, and most likely people who do understand what they need to do, but only roughly about 2% has been accomplished, right? Let's take a look at the next article. Let's take a look at the next press release that to do what is spending review. An explainer of the spending review process and what it means to you. Okay, let's try to understand it. What is spending review? A spending review is a process of government used to set all departments' budgets for the future years. This covers both services that the public use every day, like NHS, schools, and all transport, and how the government will invest in research, energy, security, and infrastructure to drive economic growth across the country. Perhaps by setting a target, it could be 3% of the budget and how it would be allocated, and all these kind of great things, right? But okay. The same way how the household budget, what they spend, the government does this with the public money. This is to ensure it spends effectively. How does government spend money? Okay, sure. I'm just reading this information. I don't think at this stage there's best practices that are taking place, right? Since there's a massive backlog of problems, right? But anyway, the total amount of government spending is known as the total management expenditure. This maps out spending by department. Is the amount the government departments have been allocated by Treasury to spend each year, and it's known as department expenditure limits, as well as money spent on things that are harder to plan for, usually because of demand for them varies, so the budgets are not fixed in advance. This includes welfare, pensions, and no debt interest payments. This is known as annual management expenditure. The level of spending is the future forecast by the Office of Budget Responsibility. The budget area was split into two additional categories. That would be resource spending, which covers the government spending on its day-to-day running and no administration costs. This is generally goods and no services like nurses' pay or medicines. Capital spending, which is funding for investments to improve the case infrastructure and all public services, for example, new roads, hospitals, and military equipment. Sure, what is a spending review process? The Council of, okay, there might be some names, let's skip those. Read the spending review first of the government identifies the key priorities for all departments, which includes the key outcomes of public service. I don't know. Let's stop here. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that local governments can deliver. I don't think they can. I think within the numbers and what they need to do when it comes to collecting taxes, entire system as of now, I believe it's a mess. Perhaps out of all the councils, very small percentage of councils actually can do what they said to do. A lot of councils are going under. So the government is doing something. Let's progress. This video is going to be way too long, right? Let's take a look at the next article. That with British troops thanked for defending Polish airspace and no successful air defense deployment concludes. Operations has concluded after more than 2 years of successfully protecting Polish airspace. After the British personnel have been thanked for their work supporting defense of Polish airspace. As the UK Sky Sabre air defense deployment comes to and initially planned for 6 months, deployed in 2022, the operation has been extended 4 times, playing an important role in boosting NATO's eastern flank and strengthening alliance security in light of Russia's aggression in the region, and in close coordination with the Polish and other allies forces. Sky Sabre will be constituted in the UK, ensuring that UK armed forces has flexibility on operational requirements in the future, including training more personnel on the system. UK and Polish troops marked the end of the 2-year deployment in the Sky Sabre system at the ceremony in Rzeszów, Poland last week. The conclusion of the deployment was marked by the joint visit from, okay, it's great. I thought it might be worth acknowledgement, as well as let's progress and let's take a look at the next articles. Let's take a look at the next article, and perhaps we can close today's video on this particular article, since it might be too long otherwise, right? That the government sets out plans for new era of clean electricity. I think it was yesterday I was taking a look at how much electricity as of now UK is purchasing from France. It could be 10% of its needs, which is roughly about 250 million pounds every month. This is how much electricity. Would that be worth concerning? And this article is something that will be published today. As well as, I don't know if that information is accurate, by the way, so it's very hard to find accurate data, since some of the sources not necessarily will be published by UK's government, I guess. It will be some sources of private businesses, right? But anyway, government delivers on Prime Minister's plan for change to build energy system that can bring down bills for households and not business for good. That would be 3 different points. Government delivers on the Prime Minister's plan for change for build an energy system that can bring down bills for households and not business for good. Since current prices one of the highest in the world, it's up there, right? It's debatable since some of the governments are investing into different systems. Perhaps some of the European countries right now they're paying a lot, and not necessarily just UK. It's a long story, but anyway, it's what UK is paying a lot. But anyway, someone's paying for whatever reason. Someone close to what UK is paying. But anyway, the British households will be better protected from a real roller coaster of the fossil fuel markets, with plan to unlock the grid, speed up planned decision, and or build more renewables to make British energy security with the clean power by 2030. Clean power will unlock 40 billion of investment in a year and will reindustrialize Britain with thousands of skilled jobs and access to the country. 40 billion is similar to some of the pension funds that we were taking a look at, as well as to build the industry. A lot of businesses would need a lot of cheap and large quantities of electricity. That will be very important. So perhaps funds, if possible, could be local pension funds, right? So capital would be sourced locally, not necessarily from overseas investors, all these kind of things, right? If government is taking a look at that, great. Entire article is very long. I haven't read it. It might some parts it might go a little bit too much into detail, or it might get political. We would only look to read important information, right? I don't know how much of that will be covered within this article since there is a lot of information, right? So we might have to skip some information and know names, all these kind of things, right? And don't know if those people want to be mentioned, anyways. But anyway, working people will benefit from new era of clean electricity as the government today unveils the most ambitious reforms of the country's energy systems in a generation to make Britain energy secure, protecting households from energy prices spikes, reindustrialize the country with thousands of skills, jobs, and all tackle the climate crisis. In a major milestone to deliver the Prime Minister's plan for change, which aims to deliver economic growth and rebuild Britain with mission-driven government, energy security. Let's keep name. Well, today's date, that will be Friday, 13th of December, set out detailed plan to achieve the targets of clean energy by 2030. The plan will provide the thousands of UK to for UK build energy system that foundations for UK to build energy system that can bring down bills, households and all businesses for good. The independent national energy system operator set out pathways to the clean energy system in 2030, which is within 6 or so years, right? It might be very ambitious, but anyway, and confirmed that it was deliverable, more secure, and could see a lower cost of electricity and lower bills. For too long, there have been no plan to build new energy infrastructure based on assessment of which the country actually needs for long term. As a result, billions of pounds of clean energy projects have been held up by the clogged up planning system and dysfunctional power grid. Quotes that means renewable projects cannot be get online. The government will now plan an energy system based on what the country needs. The plan sets out the bold measures to get more homegrown clean power to the people. This includes clean. Here we go. We most likely we're gonna run in circles for a bit. Let's give some information. Right? Delivering those reforms will unleash 40 billion a year, mainly private investment, homegrown. What does it mean? Homegrown energy. There's no way to grow that energy. Homegrown, wave energy, wind energy. We keep repeating its word. I don't know what that means. Clean power projects and all infrastructure across the country, creating good jobs across the country, including engineering, welders, and all mechanics. Okay, that's great. Every family and all business in the country has paid the price of Britain's dependence on foreign fossil fuel markets. I don't know, this part is debatable for those who are tracking history. And I don't know, It's a very debatable, anyway, which was starkly exposed. Then Putin invaded. Oh, okay, we're getting political. Let's progress. The government clean power mission is a solution for a crisis by skipping to a clean homegrown energy, including renewables and nuclear. The UK has now we know what homegrown means. It means renewable and nuclear. I guess article is written perfectly. It's just that there's a lot of patience that would be needed to read the entire article, and this video would be too long. This sector is very important. I appreciate that this article has full of information, just some of the wording, perhaps when discussing processes and how to engage, who would be responsible, where is the contact information. Perhaps myself or others would be looking for this particular information. Let's progress. Cleaning up dysfunctional grid, getting more homegrown power connected. Homegrown. I don't know what they mean by that. Would that be perhaps capturing wave energy, right? For example, instead of perhaps importing energy from overseas. Would that be definition of homegrown? But anyway, Clean power connected to the grid by building new necessary infrastructure, prioritizing projects needed for 2030 to connect as much clean power as possible. Cars, right? Electric cars, houses, mobile might require more energy, so demand might only go up. And how well government as of now position themselves to meet this kind of demand with that would be manufacturing of solar panels, having teams of people who would be able to install those, or perhaps manufacture everything over here instead of importing all those kind of things, right? Over the last 5 years, the grid connection queues have grown tenfold, and how it contains equivalent capacity of 737 gigawatts. Many of those projects are speculative or do not have the necessary funding or planning permissions to progress. The queues is currently managed on a first come first served basis to meet the 2030 emission action needed now to rationalize the queues, and all the government is talking with themselves basically, since all this would be issues by the government, right? So government would need to be the one who would approve those projects, right? So government is then writing this article. They are discussing about issues that government would hold up projects. Sometimes some key studies were published when it comes to government holding up the projects for 18 years. So government then publishing this article, they're discussing how well they're holding down some of the projects. Who else is holding them down? It's not people who reading these articles, right? So target audience perhaps could always be better, right? Instead of this plan will help move enable projects, reorder the queues, and all accelerate connection time scales and all projects needed the most. Cleaning up the queues will mean crucial infrastructure reform. Housing to gigafactories or more data centers can get connection to the grid, helping to unlock billions of investment and growth economy. Something that we have discussed previously. Is good that government is doing more when it comes to meeting some of those demands. Perhaps there is more parties involved when it comes to approval of some of the projects, but approval all that, that's government. It's not the business people, it's not the general public who is struggling with that. Perhaps they're suffering, but that's all of that is subject to a government's approval, right? Let's progress. Prioritizing 2030 projects in the planning system. The plan will provide clarity on what energy mix will look like for 2030 on the national or regional level, including updating the national policy statements for energy that guide planners so they can have clear directions on the importance of delivering the right amount of clean power and energy infrastructure for 2030. The government is also bringing offshore wind back into a national significant infrastructure projects regime in England. This will make it easier to progress onshore farming larger than 100 megawatts. The government will bring forward planning and infrastructure bill with measures to streamline the delivery of critical infrastructure in the planning process. The government will also ensure communities directly benefit from hosting clean energy infrastructure. Okay. Sure. Further reforms to accelerate homegrown clean power. All of that most likely will come back to industry and prices, right? So if those measures weren't gonna take place, energy prices most likely would only gonna go up. And as of now, about 10%, as I mentioned, some of that energy would be purchased from overseas, right? Further reforms to accelerate homegrown clean power, expanding the renewable auction process so projects can get funding agreed before the planning permission has been finalized. I don't know, that seems. I'll skip some information. It's debatable. I don't think that should be the process. So we're making it to be a business, right? By a similar station with the housing market. While currently it's only 2% accomplishment, right? Since a lot of people playing in the system, right? Last point, and we're gonna close on that. That will be additional background. Accelerating grid connections and building new networks infrastructure in centered on unlocking over billion of investment in UK's clean energy industries and driving growth and job creation in all sectors of the economy, including AI, data centers, and manufacturing. Okay, this ambitious plan will help meet UK's legally binding climate targets and will harness renewable power to reduce reliance on fossil fuels, helping to protect national and households' finances from roller coasters of international markets. Okay? It follows urgent action already taken by delivering a mission since July, including lifting onshore wind ban, establishing Great British Energy, consenting almost 2 gigawatts of nationally significant solar, delivering a record breaking renewable action, and kickstarting carbon capture and hydrogen industries. Let's close on that, and thanks for watching. See you next one.